There's people in my jail and in the prison system throughout the United States. If they had to go to another country and they couldn't survive,
Okay.
they'd be in prison.
Okay, let's talk about, we have the valve body here. Which is this right here. We're going to test this out, look at it, look at the internal pistons and everything just to see if it's okay. I'm going to check the solenoids again. One of them looked be a little sticky. We'll find out about that. And we're going to look at the pump right here that pumps the fluid, driven by the torque converter. So let's see if we can take it apart. Let me focus down on it again. Okay, gotta make sure we. Okay, gotta make sure we. Let's take out the two bolts here. Take off this gasket. Let's get a box we can put the bolts in. Okay, there we go. One thing we really have to note is where all the balls go. So let's take this off. Oop, oop. And of course the relief valves too. Going to take note of all that. Let's put this back on. I'm going to make sure these weren't stuck to the back. Wipe this down. Okay. Now, there's a number of places, and when I look at, I'm going to reference my book. We got balls here, here, got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, looks like 5. Get the fluid out of there. Break out the, because we just want to mark the location of all these pieces. Some markers, so let's take the camera over. A little close up here. Let's move back a little. The valve body. We have locations for some relief valves was here. We got 2 filters stuck right in these 2 holes here. And as you can see, we'll zoom in right here. There's a ball. There's another ball in here, right there. So you just want to note the location where all that stuff goes. Don't put it back right. I guess it's big trouble. Okay, took one out, put that back in. Just been going around, just making sure the valves, a little poker here, go in and make sure the valves are sliding freely. They appear to be so far. On that side. Okay, this side. Just going down near their ends. Just moving them. They're all under tension spring. They all appear to be moving. So I don't really see any problem with any of the valves here. Let's move this over. Here's the piston. This part goes into the pump, and I'm looking at the teeth. All looks pretty good. And this other part, which sticks through the transmission, and this piece goes into the torque converter. So the torque converter turns this, comes into this pump here, right here, and pumps the fluid. So let's look and see how this mates. There we go. I can see the blades. As far as the gears go, it looks good. Well, that's, turn this over. Let's look at, since we got it all apart, you know, hate to say, oh, well, yeah, it'll be okay, and, well, is it okay or is it not okay? Slowly take it off. I'm not sure. Here we go. Okay, sure, because it looks like we have this whole mechanism that comes out. Little pieces of metal that slide into here, and that becomes the blade that turns inside here. Pieces of metal. Use our little pump. Now this, remember the shaft is going to fit right into here. There it goes. Looks like it's a good fit. That's going to rotate. Turn the pump. That's a good fit right there. Okay, so we wanted to look at inside there. And let's just see how this slides on the bearing. Okay, back to the valve body. So, put this back temporarily, the pump. Gonna look at a new bearing here maybe. Everything else looks okay. All the valves seem to slide on their springs. Nothing looks stuck. I'm gonna assume it's okay. I don't know if the transmission really showed any problems in that aspect anyway. So now we're gonna test the shift relays. And what we're gonna do, a power supply, I'm going to set it to 12 volts or maybe a car battery, and we're going to plug in to here, and I can set the current I'm going to set it to about 900 milliamps, almost an amp. And what we're going to do, I can touch it and it'll current limit, which is good. What we're going to do is, see right here, the other side is where these things are going to push out to enable different things in the transmission. So we should be able to hear them click as we put 12 volts on them. So let's try it. You can hear that little click. So this one, that one really is responsive. This is not so responsive. This one appears to be responsive. This is very marginal, this one. Okay, so we're going to twist these. But we have to, there we go. And there it is, it comes out. Okay, so what it looks like happens is fluid comes out in one area, then probably there's a valve in there that allows it to go through this other passage right here, right in this area. So yeah, looks like it's working. I can feel it working. That looks okay. I don't have enough current. It's drawing over 1.5 amps, and my supply doesn't put out enough to. But I can feel it working, doing its thing. So this looks okay. I guess I have to say, in the valve body, everything looked okay. We got a couple things. We have the solenoid, which appears to be working, but it's marginal. And we have whether or not this bearing for the pump shaft, which goes into the torque converter, is adequate or not. There's a little bit of play there. I'm not sure how much play it's supposed to have at the moment. So those are the two things that I found, at least doing this piece. So now, but it's not enough to cause a transmission to fail totally. So looking at all the pieces, next task is the torque converter. We're going to look at that again because everything's pointing to the torque converter right at the moment. There's nothing in the transmission that I've taken apart. There's no major failure. There's no busted shafts. Everything looks good. The fluid was dirty, but it wasn't like gunky, clogging up anything in the valve body. It's fairly clean. So let's see what happens there.